proudest couple in the Easter parade on the avenue, Fifth Avenue. The photographers will snap us, and you'll find that you're in the rotogravure. Oh, I could write a sonnet about your Easter bonnet and of the guy I'm taking to the Easter parade on the avenue, Fifth Avenue. The photographers will snap us, and you'll find that you're in the rotogravure. Oh, I could write a sonnet about your Easter bonnet and of the guy I'm taking to the Easter parade, the Easter parade.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Utica. I'm Kim Bywater, a member of the Worship Committee. Whether you are visiting here for the first time or have been a member for many years, you are welcome here. Whatever faiths you have known, if any, you are welcome here. Whoever you are and whomever you love, you are welcome here. We are invited to bring our whole selves into this service, our doubts as well as our convictions, the pain and joy we have known, our longing for connection and understanding. Every part of you is welcome here. Our congregation acknowledges that the land on which UU Utica is situated is the ancestral land of the Oneida Nation, one of the original nations of the Haudenosaunee or Iroquois people. If you are visiting us today for the first time, either in person or online, we are glad you have joined us. We would love to learn more about you and connect you with our newsletter if you like. There will be a link in the chat to a form that we hope any online visitors will fill out, and we hope you will stay for informal conversation in breakout groups after the service. Our title for today's service is New Perspectives. I am honored and delighted to introduce our guest speaker for today, Reverend Janet Stemmer. Janet is a former member of UUU and a retired CPA. She was ordained as an interfaith interspiritual minister by One Spirit Interfaith Seminary in 2015 after many years of spiritual study. She now serves on the board of trustees of One Spirit and volunteers as assistant chaplain at Upstate Medical in Syracuse. We have an announcement today from Paul Tenarowitz regarding our stewardship campaign.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Easter. Just wanted to let everybody know that our pledge drive is now at $81,755, which means we actually have exceeded last year's pledge drive by $85. So thanks to everybody, and it's been really generous of everyone. And I can't tell you how appreciative the entire congregation is that we're at this point. Our goal was $85,000. We're falling a little short of that, but officially the pledge drive kind of ends today, but we really don't have to have a budget number into the finance committee till May 12th. So if anyone still hasn't pledged and would like to pledge, please do so. And if anyone still was on the fence about maybe increasing their pledge a little bit, that would be great. If we get a little bit closer to 85,000, that'd be wonderful. But thanks again to everybody for that. One quick other announcement I wanted to throw in too is we are trying to partake in the Keep Mohawk Valley Beautiful Day on the 23rd of April as a congregation. And it's been in the newsletter, but I just want to let everybody know that we're still waiting for an email for the date and time of where we exactly would meet to do that. And we're hoping we can have a group represent UU Utica out in the community doing something important as helping with the cleanup on that day. So more information will be forthcoming on that. Thank you.
Let us open our hearts and minds to the experience of community and the wisdom of love. Our chalice lighting today are words by Walter Rauschenbusch. We give thanks for this universe, our great home, for the vastness and richness of our cosmic environment, for the manifoldness of life on the planet of which we are a part. We are thankful for the morning sun and the clouds and the constellations of stars. We rejoice in the deep waters and green leaves of grass. We give thanks for our sense by which we experience Earth's splendor. We would have each opened to all this joy, saved from being so weighted with care that we pass unseeing when the thorn bush by the wayside is aflame with beauty. Enlarge within us a sense of fellowship with all that lives. Our opening hymn is in the Teal hymnal, number 1014, Answering the Call of Love.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Easter, and thank you for inviting me to speak again. I always love to meet with you all. I think of Easter as that time of year of new beginnings, new perspectives. Like some of you, but some people like the winter. I have been in hibernation, slow motion during winter, and now it's impossible not to be enlivened by the warming weather and the buds bursting from the trees and the blooming of the flowers. Even though every day is a new beginning, every moment is a new beginning. This time of year is like a New Year celebration for me. The world religions are all celebrating. Christianity is celebrating the resurrection. Judaism is observing Passover, and Ramadan is in progress, all at once. And what will help us bring this new beginnings into our lives? Ben Franklin is quoted as saying, if you do tomorrow what you did today, you will get tomorrow what you got today. In other words, if our thoughts are filled with yesterday, will we not live the same day today? Will I drive the same way to work? Will I eat the same foods? Will I say the same things? So we worship today in the spirit of seeing with new eyes and expanding and welcoming the new. Our Together time celebrates springtime. This is When Spring Comes by Kevin Henkes. Oops. Look at there. It reminds us, let me see if we get those pictures in there. Before spring comes, the trees look like black sticks against the sky. We're barely out of that stage, I think, but spring is coming. But if you wait, you have to wait. You have to wait. Spring will bring leaves and blossoms. If you wait, you wait. Spring will make the leftover mounds of snow smaller and smaller, and sometimes a little bigger, a little retrograde, and smaller until suddenly they will be gone. Before spring comes, the grass is brown. But if you wait, spring will turn it green and add those wonderful flowers. If you wait, an egg will become a bird. A seed will start growing. Spring comes with sun, and it comes with rain, and more rain, and more rain, and well, a little snow. Do you like mud? Do you like puddles? I hope you like umbrellas. Before spring comes, the garden is just dirt and empty. But if you wait, spring will push green shoots through the dirt to fill up the garden. It's a wonderful time of year. And spring will call out the pussy willows and new kittens as well. Spring can come quickly or slowly. We just have to wait. It changes its mind a lot. But when spring is finally here to stay, you will know it. There will be buds and bees and boots and bubbles. There will be worms and wings and wind and wheels. You will feel it, you will smell it, you will hear it. When spring is finally here to say, you might think that you are done waiting, but you're not. Now you have to wait for summer. Now we have to wait for summer. We are not in charge. A part of us is always on to the next thing. Instead of enjoying spring, we're thinking, now I have to wait for summer. The earth, the seasons always remind us that we are not the ones in charge. We wait for spring. We wait for summer. They come in their own time. We are the witnesses to their coming and going, and yet it's still so amazing. And this reminded me of, and I was going to do a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh, but Mooji fits here so completely, this particular quote. Don't be a storehouse of memories. Leave past, future, and even present thoughts aside. Be a witness to the life unfolding by itself. it unfolds. Be free of attachments, fears, and concerns by keeping your mind inside your own heart. Rest in being. Like this, like spring, life is always fresh and imbued with pure joy. So here we are in this amazing time of Easter and Passover, Ramadan. The Theravada Buddhists are celebrating New Year, Ostara. We're all in this time capsule of change and new beginnings. It's amazing and yet not amazing that they're all intersecting right now. All these faith traditions recognize that this point in time is a special time of blessing. And while we may not understand and know the details of all these traditions, we may be able to feel that this is the new beginning. We're coming out of the mud, the seeds are growing through. Mother Earth is waking up, and I feel the impatience and the restlessness of wanting to be outdoors. I want to try new things and move out of that quieter season of winter. And I'm patiently waiting for the end of the pandemic to be outside and be active, more active with friends and community. But that is the outer world. The Christian Easter celebrates the resurrection of Jesus. To his community and later to others, he was no longer a simple man, but a manifestation of divinity. They were witnesses to a new beginning, a new understanding. We too have the capacity to witness a new understanding of our own self. But it is not by planting more flowers, working more hours, having a bigger house or more friends on Facebook. Our greater self is always within. Christianity says it. The kingdom is within. So if you want something new, be something new. It's not always about doing, but being. What we see out there will change when we change. Gandhi always is quoted, be the change you want to see in the world. You have to change where it begins, not where it ends. And some days it's difficult to consider our own spark of the divine manifestation, our part in this divine creation, this amazing, challenging, inspiring manifestation. And difficult some days to see this is also true of others, that others have this spark of the divine in them. We see love in the world when there is love in our hearts. Think of those days when you are in love with life, a person, a child, the weather. Nothing removes that lightness of being. And it spreads out to everything we see and to everyone we meet, like a ripple in a pond. But we also see anger in the world because there's anger in here. And sometimes anger arises in us because we see it out there, like an endless loop. We could be like a radio stuck on a station with an angry DJ. And then we in turn express anger to the next person, and they do it to the next person, instead of changing the radio station back to love. Often after I have read the news, I intentionally take time to go to a meditation, take a moment, or uplifting video to recenter myself, to not add a sad or angry vibration to what is already in the world. Instead, I send a thought, a prayer of healing for those who do not have that option. Learn to stop the loop, pay attention, step back, see that anger or whatever negative emotion you get stuck in. And I'm using here, as anger. When I lived in a Gurdjieff community, we would say, I have an anger eye in me. Instead of saying I am angry and identifying as the whole of me is angry, because it's never the whole of me, it's just one eye, one thought. We, our true selves, are not our anger. Behind all our thoughts, all our emotions, is our own spark of the divine. But we tend not to live there. Rest in being, Mooji said. Be there. Just being in that place is a peaceful place, quiet place. We all have it. It's covered over by all the activities of the world, all the noise and busyness of our lives. It is what all the meditators strive to find and do discover many times. When you operate from that deeper place, new beginnings, new thoughts, new perspectives are every day. Like bubbles in the water, they come from the deep up to the surface. New ideas, new ways of doing things. Consider that you're on the ocean and it's a wild storm with everything being tossed about. And you sink down to the ocean floor. And don't worry, we assume you can breathe underwater for this scenario. You sink down. You've seen the videos, it's quiet. You know the storm is up on the surface, but you can rest for a while on the ocean floor. When you're ready, you can return to the surface, all the while connected to that quiet place that you became connected to. Learn to carry that quiet place with you wherever you go. From that quiet place, you can see what actions are necessary to weather the storm. It's not that you spend your life sitting at the bottom of the ocean. It connects you to your quietness. And in that quietness, you can see what are the right actions to take. When you are the storm, you cannot see clearly. You cannot make good decisions. When you are centered and anchored in that quiet place, new perspectives arise. The spiritual teacher Mooji has a meditation called The Invitation. He invites you inside, tells you, leave your shoes outside, meaning leave the world out there. Leave the wild storm and sit in the quiet. Leave all that you think you are. Drop your thoughts. Be still. Be. And in that place, you are not father, mother, sister, brother, architect, accountant, driver. Be vast and open, like the sky. Think of a blue sky, how big and open, vast, and the clouds come and go. Those clouds, your thoughts, your emotions. Don't buy in. It's one of those eyes going by. Witness. We are witness what comes and goes. Kind of like waiting for spring and summer. We're just waiting and watching what comes and what goes. You are not your thoughts. Although we tend to think that we are. We don't always know where they come from or where they go. During this quiet time, perhaps you will discover what has always been there, who you are. Each spiritual tradition has this deeper path, the deeper journey. The Buddhists call this place emptiness. One might say it is a place of seeing, a place of knowing, that recognizes that the world we see is impermanent, changing, interdependent. Yet there is an isness, an unchangingness underlying it all. And we are rooted in that. We are part of that. We just aren't aware of that. The theologian Paul Tillich called it the ground of being. New thinkers tend to often refer to it as source. We are not separate from that. So why am I talking about emptiness and God and source? And what does this have to do with new perspectives? When we have had a major event in our life, an illness, a loss of a loved one, winning the lottery, how we see the world changes. Not so much the change in the world that makes the difference, it is the change in us and how we look out into the world. What can change us besides a major event? An exploration, a discovery of who we are. The Irish poet, John O'Donoghue, reminds us the blessings for which we hunger are not to be found in other places or people. These gifts can only be given to you by yourself. They are at home in the hearth of your soul. in the hearth of your soul. What a beautiful way to put that. Here, within. It means we cannot continue to seek outside ourselves for things we need from within. If we do not have deep roots, deep within ourselves, we will not have the wisdom to see with new eyes. I frequently remind people that we as a species are often on autopilot. As Ben Franklin reminded us, tomorrow will be the same as today if we do the same thing the same way as yesterday. Doing it faster or slower will not change it. Seeing with new eyes can change tomorrow. Think of a construction foreman. He's the guy who watches the whole project. He steps back from the bricklayer and takes in the progress of the guy who is in the thick of it. We need to be our own foreman, a witness to our life unfolding. Step back and look. And an excellent way to step back and look is to connect with ourselves deeply. I say within, but it's also this expansiveness like the sky. Perhaps during this pandemic, you have had a chance to slow down. I hear from many people who have had a chance to slow down, step back, and said, whoa, quit their jobs and found something new, found what they truly wanted to do. It doesn't happen if you're running full speed ahead. It's a poor habit in this country. So here's some homework. In the morning or the evening or whenever it suits you, take 5 minutes. Think of yourself as the sky, this openness, this vastness, emptiness. Every thought that comes by is like a cloud. The cloud comes, the cloud goes. So you say, I don't have time to sit here. Let that go. Don't forget to go to the grocery store. You don't need to think that. This isn't going to work. I have to fix that window. So those thoughts, they come, they go. We don't need to buy into them. They can come, they go, kind of like, the TV's playing in the other room and you don't hear it anymore. You can let that go for 5 minutes. I'm not asking for the rest of your life, for 5 minutes. So let's do that right now for 1 minute. Where you are, take a relaxing breath. Let go. You're in a safe space. Just be empty. Just be empty. Let go of everything. No thoughts. Be peaceful. You don't have to be anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do it right. You don't have to do it wrong. Just sit for 1 minute without an agenda, without having to go somewhere, without having to be somewhere. Take a good breath. Let the world go for a moment. It'll survive without us. It'll survive without us. If you need a word, love, one, healing, peace. Pretend you have a hole in your foot and all that you are, all that tension and all those things you're worried about, they just drain right out. Gone. That was 1 minute. Not the end of the world. Wasn't so hard. Do it as often as you can. It starts creating little cracks in that busyness that you are. As you begin to relax more often, those thoughts can start bubbling up from the deep. New perspectives can arise. You might be pleasantly surprised. You may see new ways of doing things. We have a great deal of wisdom within. We just have to give the space to come out. This short, quiet time, and make it as short or as long as you please, is letting go. Thich Nhat Hanh tells us letting go gives us freedom. Freedom to be who we are, to allow that energy within us to come forth. Otherwise, we're just drowning it out. Freedom to see with new eyes. It stops the autopilot for a moment. It lets us reset. Try stopping anywhere, anytime. For example, you're about to get upset with someone. Stop. And if you're doing this on a regular basis, you'll have the awareness to stop mid-track. You're about to get upset with someone. Stop. Drop who you think you are. Sometimes people are upset. They want an answer right away. You just say, okay, processing. Give me a minute. We think for a minute. We go to that place. We let the quiet open a door to a different answer instead of just reacting to what the other person has said. I see Mooji do this all the time. A student steps up to the microphone and asks them a question. He'll close his eyes for a moment before he responds, and you know he's just letting it cook, letting it rise up within him. What is the right answer? He does this all the time. This is part of his being now. Unlike the game shows, right? On TV, the best answer is not always the first answer that pops into your head and you hit the buzzer. That's the waves on top of the ocean. Take a moment to do the deep dive if you want the best response to the situation, to the person, to whatever it is you're contemplating. I love the simplicity of Fred Rogers, right, from The Neighborhood. He was a great example of coming from quietness. You have a sense of that. He's not rushed. He's not like a freight train going down. And he said, the purpose of life is to listen to yourself, to your neighbor, to your world, to God. And when the time comes, when the time comes, to respond in as helpful a way as you can, from within and from without. Listen from that deep place. And when we live and act from that place, we harmonize ourselves and those around us. New beginnings. The Jewish philosopher Abraham Heschel suggested that the reward for what he called inner tuning is a sense of peace. By being what we are, we will aid humanity more than by any particular service we may render. I'll say that again. By being what we are, we will aid humanity more than by any particular service we may render. And he's talking about that being, that deep being, not the surface stuff on the ocean. And Krishnamurti echoes that same sentiment with this quote, change in society is of secondary importance. That will come about naturally, inevitably, when you as a human being bring about the change in yourself. If you don't like what's out there, change what's in here. There was a great Zen story of a village suffering a drought. They sent for a local wise man who came and sat in their village quietly, just being. After a day or two, the rains came. They asked him, how did you do that? He explained, when I came, I found your village was in disharmony. I restored the harmony by being here, and that naturally, inevitably, brought the rain. We don't recognize sometimes that what's out there is connected to what's in here. Step back from all your busyness. And it doesn't mean you have to go sit on a mountaintop for 10 hours. Give yourself 5 minutes on the back deck. Letting go of thinkingness. When I visit patients, I suggest they leave all of the thinkingness, the what ifs. It's like the mouse on the wheel, and rest instead in your heart. Find that place within where you're surrounded by love. There's a greater place of healing than just spinning in anxiety thoughts. We have our own healing place. Discover it. As our song was saying, a bright new day is dawning. Let it be peace be with you. Let it be a new beginning in your connection to yourself. And take that centeredness, that peace, with you wherever you go. Blessed be. Amen. Thank you for listening. Our next hymn is When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power in each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
'I will read, there was one more posted, I don't think we have a candle for, from Bill Gazzatano, who says, "My sister is 75 today for the second time in her life. Her birthday is on Easter Sunday." A candle in my heart for Bill. Again, let's take one moment, 1 minute, 1 minute to be in silence. Let's drop all our thoughts. Let us just be present with one another. We send out love and healing and joy for all that has been shared here today. 1 minute. Let's just stop and be. One minute. Peace, love, healing, joy, compassion, caring, holding each other up, caring, love. 1 minute. That's all it takes. Sink down into that presence that we are all connected to. We give thanks. We give love for all that has been shared. Kim.
The words for our offering by Heather Christensen is titled Individually and Together. Unitarian Universalism is a grand vision of a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy. That vision is embodied in a few large congregations, numerous mid-sized congregations, and many, many small congregations. No matter its size, each congregation depends on all of its members. Each one of you, by your commitment of time, energy, and resources, helps make that grand vision real. Individually and together, we are Unitarian Universalists, building a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy. The ushers may now come forward to take the offering.
I am who I'm becoming. I am all I have done. I am what I am dreaming. I've only just begun. I am who I'm becoming. I am all I have done. I am what I am dreaming. I've only just begun. I am who I'm becoming. I am all I have done. I am what I am dreaming. I've only just begun. You are who you're becoming. You are all you have done. You are what you are dreaming. You've only just begun. You are who you're becoming. You are all you have done. You
Now we will extinguish our chalice. Please join in with the words on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again.
We give thanks for being able to be together at this time. May we learn to be still and connect with the great presence. May we feel that great love within us and outside of us, and let it guide all that we do. Amen. And on to the postlude.
Thanks, folks. Breakout rooms will be forthcoming.